I'm back in Worksop today. In particular, I'm back at the Worksop Priory, a magnificent priory in the centre of Worksop. It's well worth a visit, especially if you like your churches, but if you like your Harvestman, it's even more of a well worth a visit, because it's home, one of 3 homes to this Harvestman, which is Leiobunum species A. It's still scientifically unnamed, and it's a spectacular thing, but it's in trouble. At least it seems to be here at Worksop Priory, because following a 3-figure count earlier in the year, subsequent counts have been considerably lower. I have a feeling that today they're going to be lower still, and that, in all honesty, I think is down to the heat and the dryness of the summer of 2022. These southerly walls of Worksop Priory must have reached incredibly high temperatures, especially when the air temperature locally was nigh on 40 degrees centigrade. In all honesty, these walls probably reached somewhere near a 60 centigrade. That's the only reason or explanation I can give to the apparent sudden decline in the numbers of this Harvestman here on Worksop Priory. Whereas at Worksop's other 2 sites for Leiobunum species A, it seems to have fared better, but they're both in the shade. One in the centre of Worksop I've not seen and checked on for a couple of years. The other one is at Worksop's B&Q on Sandy Lane, and numbers have increased there, and in fact I did get a 3-figure count a few weeks ago. I don't think there's any chance of a 3-figure count here, at least not this year. I don't know why numbers have declined so drastically. Back in July, I think it was, I did have a 3-figure count here. I think it was in the region of about 130, 140 offhand. But 2 subsequent counts have both produced identical totals of 36, and they've all been in one single aggregation. And that aggregation has been here on the south-facing walls of Worksop Priory. So at the moment I have just this female on the total and 2 males a few feet to my right. The funny thing about Leiobunum species is that it creates and forms sometimes huge aggregations, none so far noticed in the UK. We've had sort of well over 100 in one single aggregation. The interesting fact about them is that these aggregations are formed annually in the same place on the walls here at Worksop Priory, and presumably elsewhere too. However, does 2 make an aggregation? I don't think it does, but this might be the biggest single count or multiple counts that I'm going to get today. However, another one has appeared, so now the count is 4. We're making progress, but I don't know what has caused the disappearance and low numbers of Leiobunum species A from the walls of Worksop Priory. These really are extremely long-legged Harvestmen. There's only a couple of other species in the UK that are very similar, and they're also like Leiobunum species A and are non-native UK species as a result of imports, but the trouble is we don't know imported from where. South America is the most likely continent, but we don't know. However, these are a spectacular addition to the UK fauna, and they're obviously here to stay. The leg span of mature males like these 2 could easily reach almost 6 inches, they are impressive things. The males are beautifully marked. They're very dark in appearance, almost black, but closer inspection will reveal that they are a dark metallic green colour. They're beautiful things. The females don't have the metallic nature to their coloration, but are more nicely and intricately marked with various patterns and marbling of greens and creams and greys. They're also slightly shorter legged than the males, but at the same time they're very impressive arachnids. It is a super thing. Long-legged, spends a lot of its time tucked away in crevices in the stonework and recesses, such as this one here that's now settling back. They're easily disturbed, but they very quickly go back to their favoured resting position, and they'll tuck themselves away like that one's doing. Well, the mystery of just where Leiobunum species A has ended up here on the walls of Worksop Priory will remain a mystery. It'll be interesting to see what happens next year, whether there'll be some kind of comeback. I like to think that numbers will increase again, and that this downturn in fortunes at this particular Worksop site for the species is only temporary, and that it's down solely to the high temperatures and dry weather of 2022. Something that's affected so many invertebrates this year. Next year, for many species, hopefully it'll mark the start of something of a comeback.